What's shaking, my friends, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Shay, and today we are here to talk about my best books of 2024, the cream of the crop, the ones that I could just hug, that they are my babies. And there are no rules for this list, as you will see. We will go ahead and get started. Coming in at number 10. Coming in at number 10 is going to be Murder at Spindle Manor by Morgan Stang. I read this book for Spiffo 9 and I fell in love with it. Now, this is a book that has stuck with me throughout the entire year from when I read it. This is a romp of a great time. This is a steampunk kind of fantasy mystery with monsters, and I would highly recommend it. This actually won Spiffo 9 competition. Would recommend it, and I need to continue on with the series because this was such a great, fantastic time. Coming in at number 9 is another Spiffo 9 read that it feels like I read a long time ago, but was actually in the year of 2024. And that is going to be Master of the Void by Wind Raven. I absolutely adored this coming of age story. The characters were so lovely. They endeared themselves to me, of these two boys that kind of grew up differently, and I just loved these characters. Would 100% recommend this book to somebody who may just be looking to get into fantasy. This was also a Spiffo 9 finalist. Coming in at number 8 was a very big, shocking surprise. I had never heard of this book before my book club made me read this book, and that's going to be You'd Look Better as a Ghost by Joanna Wallace. This book took me by complete surprise. I love serial killer stories, and this book follows our main character who is a serial killer, and I enjoyed getting into her mind to see what she was thinking, and there is a mystery in here that I did not guess the ending to. I also just love this cover. I love this bright green, but highly recommend this if you like stories about serial killers. And at number 7 is The God and the Gamiho by Sophie Kim. This book was not even on my radar until I got it in the Fairy Loot subscription box, and then I wound up reading it late in 2024, and it did not seem like it was going to be a story for me. I look at this cover and I think, oh, this is just another fantasy romance, but this book right here actually hit me very much in the feels. I loved this romance. I loved this world building. This is a great blend of fantasy and romance. And this book, man, it hit me in the feels. And any book that can hit me in the feels deserves all the love and all the praise. And that is this book. I enjoyed everything about it. I enjoyed the world building. I enjoyed the relationship. I enjoyed the cultural aspects of this book, and would highly recommend it for somebody who is looking for a fantasy romance that does a great job at both angles. Coming in at number 6 is Ocean's Echo. I loved Winter's Orbit. It was one of my favorite books the year that I read it, and I put off reading Ocean's Echo because I had heard so many negative things about it, and I should quit doing that because I read this year and absolutely 100% adored it. 5-star read, no questions. These characters are adorable. I thought that, hey, I cannot love two characters more than I loved them in Winter's Orbit, and that is absolutely not the case. The romance that Everina Maxwell kind of blends is like so realistic to me. It's not forced, it's not cringy, it is so realistic, and I personally truly adore her writing style, and I cannot wait to read everything that she puts out. Number 5, The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan. I have been reading The Wheel of Time starting in 2024, and I have just been so thoroughly enjoying my time with these characters and this world, and for some odd reason I thought that The Wheel of Time was not going to be a book for me. I thought, oh my gosh, it's probably totally over my head, not going to be able to understand anything, going to be so dense, like so boring, like why would I want to pick this up? However, I picked it up and absolutely have adored every single second that I have spent with these characters and this found family, and just loving this coming of age story and loving the world building, and highly recommend that if you are hesitant to pick the series up, that just go ahead and do it because you might be shocked like me. Number 4 is a very, very unpopular opinion. Most people hated this book, and I cannot tell you why this book worked so well for me. I read this very early on into 2024, and it became one of my favorite books of the year. That's going to be The City of Stardust by Georgia Summers. When I tell you that I just got invested in this world and these characters, I don't know, I felt like I was immediately part of this world, and it was so intriguing to me. And I know that people hated this book actively, but it was like a warm, cozy hug for me. Like, I don't know, it just hit me right. I love the world building, I love the characters, I love the relationship in here. I just loved every part of this adventure, and I can't wait to read what Georgia Summers comes out with next. And we didn't go far before, and I said, remember, that there were no rules in this top 10. And so number 3 is going to be The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. Again, super shocked that I loved this book as much as I did. Granted, you know, you hear all the stories about how later in the series it doesn't become worth it, but to me, right now, if you were to ask me, is Wheel of Time worth it, then I would say yes. But I'm not to the slog yet. But I love these characters, and I cannot imagine a world where I'm not just happy to be with these characters. But who's to say? Who do I know? I haven't read the full series. Coming in at number 2, and this could be recency bias. This could be because I just read it. At any given time, a lot of these books can be interchanged, but I just read this in December and absolutely positively adored it. And this is why I have to tell myself, Shay, quit putting off these chunky books. They're chunky, that's fine. It's going to take you longer to read, but you may truly, truly love it. And that's going to be The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. Now, I read The Will of the Many, or attempted to read The Will of the Many. I did not get along with The Will of the Many, but I may give it a second chance now because this was fantastic. Never do I remember the last time that I was like, I want to read a book. I've got to stop what I'm doing. I can't wait till I get to read this book again. There aren't many books that do that for me, and this book did it for me. This is a coming of age story, and people relate it to The Wheel of Time a lot, and I think that's just because it's a coming of age story with some similar elements to the magic system and the world building. But I loved these characters as well. This little found family that we have in here, I absolutely adored, and this almost made my favorite book of the year. I could have interchanged this out with my favorite book of the year because I truly, truly loved everything about this book. My actual number 1 book of the year is, to no surprise, to me at least, it's gonna be Funny Story by Emily Henry. And I love Emily Henry and the way that, again, she also has these very realistic characters. The conversations are realistic. The problems that they're going through are very realistic. And this book in particular hit me in the feels. It's not often that I tear up or I cry at a book. I did cry at this book. And so I feel like that alone kind of makes it like just part of my heart. And it's one of my favorite books of the year. Absolutely, positively. I don't own a copy yet because I'm waiting for the paperback to come out because I own all the rest of her books in paperback. But I just really, really enjoyed this book, and I cannot wait to read everything that Miss Emily Henry comes out with. Okay, that's going to be it. Those are all my favorite books of the year. Let me know if any of these books are your favorite books, or let me know what your favorite books are. And I will catch you guys in the next one.